So, it's still New Year's Eve day, almost 2020, and I'm just kind of doing what I feel like doing when I want to do it, and that's what I love to do. And today, I get a lot more choices. I'm not scheduled to do anything, and so I get just to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Had one cup of coffee, and I think I want another cup of coffee. So I thought I'd just roll it and let you know how I make coffee in the van. There you have it. So, first things first, you need water. You can hear that's frozen halfway. It was cold last night, 15 degrees. So, first thing I do, I have little drawers down here and stuff. I'll show you my whole setup. I made this console. I have some materials I found at a cabinet shop. Just some plywood, zip ties, crates and shit. I'll show you that one of these days. Anyway, I've got this little foldy collapsible funnels that I fill up my little teapot. Paul Revere. Nice little teapot. Doesn't pour real well, unfortunately. It kind of dribbles. But I like the size. I only have 2 pots in the van, and this is one of them. I have a 1-burner stove, which is just the heart of the home. It really is. This stove is just my favorite. It's a butane stove, and maybe I'll go over that butane. But I have converted it to propane. I've got a Y from a tank. One to here, one to here. One line there, one line there. So this thing just pops open real easy, man. I just ping. Fire! You gotta have fire, you gotta have a way to cook. This thing does so many things. It enables me to wash myself. I have a way to heat water, and that's hot water, hot food, tea, that kind of thing. It just makes it home. So the next thing I do, I already have my setup going on. What a nice morning. I don't like setting up in parking lots. I'm the only one in this parking lot, but it's a school parking lot up on a hill where I can get some sunshine, melt this thing down. It's all the frost on the inside of the windows has melted, fortunately, and it's warming up nicely. Solar energy, passive solar. If you can just park your van in the right direction at night so that the sun comes up in the right direction to warm mostly the front and south side, your passenger side. If you can park it like that, it really helps in this cold weather. So, carrying on with the coffee business, I have one insulated mug, pretty much. It has some rubber grips on it. One of those giveaways from a convention. It looks like Majestic Builders. I don't know, I thought I'd tag all this shit. So, I got that. Then, I'm going to empty the last filter here, the trash. This is also a collapsy thing. This is micro camping, man. This is just me, and I have to think about all this stuff. That takes up a lot of room, but that doesn't. So, got a little filter. I mean, this ain't rocket science. It's a pour over coffee. Got some. You can see that. Where's my filters? Here they are. No. Where is it going? Oh my gosh, should be easier than that. There they are. Oh, by the way, these fingerless gloves. I'm going to probably link all this stuff because I'm talking about it, because it makes a difference. These things rock in the van. I slept with these things on. You know, you just pull this over like this, and this thumb, it goes out of the way. That's important with these fingerless gloves. I've had many of them. This one, you just pull over like that, and it has a magnet. Boom. And this has a nice cuff that this sticks underneath. And these are reflective, which I think is, you know, can be cool. Put my magic marker on there if you didn't want to be seen. So it's up to you. Let's get some coffee. So here's the filters. Da-dun-da-dun. The filter. First the hot water, then the filter. Here's a safety rule for me. And it does it even in the house. Kettle, I never leave on the somebody come around. Ain't no police. I saw one driving by a little while ago. This guy's just the kids are sledding off these hills and stuff. People are coming by here to sled. See, that's a good choice. You know, it's the middle of the day. I'm parked here all alone, but now people are sledding hills around here. Yeah. So anyway, my deal is that I never put this kettle on and leave this up like that, because if it starts boiling and somehow I've walked off, it'll just keep boiling over, and this one whistles like a banshee. Yeah, so that'll whistle at you. I'm gonna put these filters up here this time. So I got a filter. I got my pour over. I got my coffee mug. I've got my coffee. I'm looking for some little containers like this that ain't plastic, because this melted because I put it back behind the safety on this thing is another thing. I want to go over the whole thing with that because I've learned a few things. Yep. Fire's hot, and propane will blow your head off. You better know what the hell you're doing. All right. Cafe. Now, probably need to restock my coffee. This is a little stale, but it's not bad. In fact, I need a little drink of water. The water I carry on my rig is another thing. These containers, these big grips, big tough plastic, these nice lids, I dig them. This is my choice of container. The tea ain't bad either. God, I'm turning into commercials. I'm just telling it as it is. So I love these containers. I have 2 of these containers under the console. That's what my water source is, 2 gallons. That seems to do me all right. You know, I'm not going out for days on end, and if I am, like when I go to Moab and camp, I have another rig, and that's kind of an off-road setup, and I could go into that. What should the name of my channel be? Should I let it whistle for you? Well, I can tell. Here it is. Oops. It's pretty full. They say to let a coffee bloom. See, that's what it dribbles a bit. I'm gonna let it bloom. That's what they say. I need a better system than that. Where's my towel? Okay. Maybe I'll use the funnel. That tea kettle. Now, does anybody have an idea how to make it keep the tea kettle? There, I did it. I don't want that kettle to dribble. I want it to pour, and it just runs down the side there. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. Let's try this. Burn your hand. No, it still dribbles. Just have to go fast, which I really don't want to do. I want to pour it slow, mother. I don't think they allow that on YouTube. All right. it smells like coffee. Something just very satisfying about being on the outside looking in, I think. People really don't know I'm here. They don't care. They don't care about me. I like that. I like it like that. I don't need it. I don't want people to know I'm here. And it's just, people have their own business. They don't have time to wonder about me. And those that are pretty scared, and looking out for, the abnormal, well, those would be the only ones that would really, you know what? I have stealth camped hundreds of times in an urban setting, and I don't think I've ever gotten a knock when I'm parked illegally and in public parking. The only time I've gotten the knocks are when I have been in private lots, parks. Those are public, but they also have like restrictions, like you can only be there from certain times. I've also gotten knocks when this was funny. Well, it's a story for another time. I'm gonna have a knock. When did I get knocked? Oh, what did I do different? This angle? Is it the angle in which you pour? I don't know. What should my channel be called? Man, this wave heater is just such a very, very pleasant heat. It's a radiant heat, and I've read it's just the coffee pouring in. I've read about radiant heat, and it's a different physics or chemistry thing. It supposedly doesn't heat the air, but it heats the things that the catalytic heat rays kind of glom onto, which is me right now. Glom on. Okay, what's this coffee doing? Yeah, it's making. I want to make it too weak this time. I'm going to take a sip before I, so then what I do is it kind of, oh, here's my water. It's easy for animals, especially in the wintertime, to get dehydrated. And I'm an animal, and I have to make sure, especially in winter, I'm thirsty in the summer, but you kind of just, you don't really crave water in certain ways. It's kind of odd, but you need to make sure you're stay hydrated. So I'm just going to put this for right now on top of here for any of the last drippings and see how this coffee tastes. Well, just the act of having a warm mug, steam, sunshine, the ability to move from one place to another on these big rubber round things and just push a button and go. You get to decide and be free to go. Free to go? Maybe that's the name of my channel. Free to go. Free to go solo. I really do find that the solitary nature of this appeals to me. I like traveling with friends as well. But the solitary nature of this is key to why I do it. I don't like to be all by myself in the wilderness. I like to kind of be a voyeur, I think. I like to watch social interaction and be with myself. I remember in big concerts, I would be solo. I would go to concerts and I would separate from my group if I did have one, and I would just go backstage and look at the drummer, all those seats in the back where where nobody's sitting. Nobody sold those seats. They don't want to look for the back of the band. But I would go back and I would look at everything, and I would come back and I would find different vantage points. And no, it must be just my nature. For you to go solo, well, that is just too similar to Free Solo, which is a movie that I've watched again and then just again with my father. That was a really cool documentary. It wasn't even about mountain climbing. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't even really about mountain climbing. Well, maybe figuratively. We all have our mountains to climb. We all have our mountains to climb. And it was just a demonstration of, I apply it to vanning. Be prepared. Practice. And that applies to a lot of things. Performing a concert, if you're a musician, which I am, and I've performed many things. When I've climbed that mountain, I was prepared, and I had practiced. And it makes the playing even that more fun. You know, you just go throw yourself in the middle of the world with a cargo van and no ideas. You don't need much, though. You don't damn need much. This little stove cost me like $25 at the most. Propane's cheap. A cot, you can get all this stuff. You can figure this doesn't cost you much. It's not a cost thing. It's just ideas. It's just your fantasy about how you want it, and that's what's cool. If you're kind of guy that wants to go out and be on land all by yourself, well, you can figure that out. You got a lot of different choices. You can have a pop top, and you can set up a tent, you can spread on out. No, not me. That's not what I'm about. I have a rig like that, which I usually go out with friends. I want to meet more friends to caravan with. And I've been kind of following some of that, but I haven't been able to catch up with anybody. It's funny. That's a better cup of coffee. I didn't water it down so. Well, the thing is, what was I going to say? I forgot. I should totally check that movie out, Free Solo. Whew. I really like that guy too. I'm glad that guy was the guy that did it, because he wasn't like some super cool athletic dude. He was just a regular guy that really had some focus. He had to be so focused, and so even beyond, you know, having that girlfriend relationship made it even more interesting. He couldn't deal with it, you know, right then. And I thought it was so cool that he got back from scaling Half Dome, and then he went to hang on. He lived in a van. Just happenstance. Maybe that's why I like him. He went to hang on he had this like finger hanging whole thing in his van, and he went home after doing that. He didn't go up a beer. He didn't go swimming. He went to go finger hold in his van. That's funny. 2020. God, that heater feels good. So, that's how you make coffee in the van.